I know what you all want to hear me talk about. And because I'm a sadistic son of a bitch, I'm going to make you wait for it till late in the video. And before we get started, just in case you ever subscribed to me in the past and still want to be, just check to make sure if you're still subbed. YouTube did that thing it likes to do every now and then, where it unsubscribes a bunch of active subscribers. So just check to make sure that's not happened to you. Also, in the past, I've been accused of just making up the unsubbing thing as a way to trick people into subscribing, and I have to point out, if I was going to do that, why would I not first take the step of asking you guys to subscribe in every video, rather than almost never doing that, and then just jumping straight to tricking you guys? I don't bother you guys with it every time, because I don't like to waste your time, and I think my work speaks enough for itself that you will subscribe if you're interested. So when I bring it up like this, it's because people who know they are subscribed already, and think they don't need to do it again, have been unsubscribed by a stupid robot. And now I feel like an idiot for wasting this much of your times explaining all that. So let's just get into the new stuff coming down the pipe already. And let's start off with something that's already here. Boy, buzzworthy Bumblebee Silverstreak just popped out of nowhere, didn't he? What the heck is even going on with this line, right? Why are there like no leaks, no stolen figures, no early reviews, and most bafflingly of all, no official announcements for anything in this line? Stuff just appears in stores, and that's how we learn about it. This is only a much more appropriately colored repaint of the Earthrise Blue Streak, with hopefully better QC and plastic, since the other thing could break. I'm going to try and get my hands on one of these just so I can tell you guys whether or not these things are prone to snapping in half like the normal Earthrise versions. I still feel guilty all this time later that I recommended ER Smokescreen only to discover that it was a figure that tends to shatter. I never want to get you guys to waste money. The mold is fun, the colors are much more logical for the name, so it's a crime they never bothered to swap these. I wonder how easy it would be to repaint this into a Prowl, considering that figure was and continues to be complete unobtainium. Quick talk about the Cup and Cliffjumper from the same line. I've seen them in person now, and I can confirm that the windows on the figures are solid plastic here. They are not just clear plastic that's been fully painted like I hypothesized. That's all I had to say about those. On to some non-figure related news. There is a company making some Transformers logo bookends, and they're pretty expensive, but you know what? I need these. I'm gonna have them hold up my video game collection, because yes, I still do buy games on disc. I refuse to let physical media die. So what if it only saves me like half a gig of internal storage because the discs are basically just download keys at this point? Man, all I'm doing is depressing myself now. Apparently, the new Transformers card game is getting expansions. I still have never played the new one. I love the old game, wish it never died, but I'm happy to see that the new one is doing well enough, it seems. Hopefully, Hasbro won't murder this one in the cradle too because it's not making Magic the Gathering money. Then you got Red Galvatron, the line that just refuses to die and refuses to be good. How is it still going when it's just been flop after flop after flop of figures that no one buys? No one wants these shitty bath toys, and it's a shame because this one almost looks good. I mean, it looks terrible, but that's just because the plastic they used. The mold actually looks interesting, it's just lost under a deluge of shitty looking rubber. I don't understand why they don't just make these out of the regular plastic they use for normal Chug figures. I don't get it. This stuff has always been so ugly. Are they just cheaping out as hard as they possibly can, or do they think that this trash is somehow added value? But I mean, look at this thing. It could have been potentially cool. It actually got the right head and the crown, unlike the Kingdom figure whose only real fault was that head sculpt. Honestly, if this weren't made out of such trash plastic with the softest details imaginable, I'd be tempted to buy this just so I could steal the head and swap it with the Kingdom figure. What are those little ears coming off the side of the Matrix between the body and the handles? It did not have those in any media, ever. How did you fuck that detail up? And then this is... I was going to say interesting, but no, it's lazy. It's really fucking lazy. They are just stealing the blast effects from the Red Cheetor. Seriously, they are giving him both the blast effects that came from that figure. If you are going to rip off your own work in this zero-effort line, why wouldn't you choose one with more appropriate effects? Or why wouldn't you mix and match them? That would actually have been kind of cool. I have never given the red line any benefit of the doubt. It always reeks straight through my computer screen, and everything they've ever done somehow still finds a way to undershoot my expectations. And they also still manage to confuse me with every release because really? The red Shockwave is based on the Dreamwave design? Who asked for that puffy looking crap to come back? Oh yeah, this is what the world needed. Shockwave made out of marshmallows and purple pillows. And yet somehow this is infinitely better looking than the Galvatron. That's probably due to the garbage rubber's lack of detail and the fact that it always looks puffy on its own, so it's kind of a brilliant decision. Like they should have been making the Dreamwave designs in the red line from the start. I mean, think about it. The crap medium they're using to make these lends itself well to these designs. The Dreamwave stuff really could never get regular transforming figures because the way that everything was bulged out would make designing figures that looked like that be a compromised pain. And it'd be a unique niche for the red line to carve out, resurrecting stuff from the long and, I dare say justly, forgotten comics. It'd be nostalgic for some people. Why weren't they doing this from the start? The red line is so misguided. Gotta love how the plastic is so shit, the Megatron handgun accessory Shockwave comes with is warping straight to hell in the official product photography because they dared put the immense weight of a blast effect on it. How do you look at that and go, it's fine? Next up, we got reissue Cybershark and Wolffang. This is a weird one to me. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see Hasbro re-release every single original Beast Wars figure. I would buy all of them. Hell, I'd probably do it twice. One to have out of its packaging, and one to hang on a shelf. But it seems a little early to start re-releasing the toy-only figures. Like where's Waspinator, Tarantulas, Inferno, Rhinox, Air Racer, Dinobot? How are these getting figures first? of the two, I remember Cybershark a lot better, having enjoyed it a lot as a kid, though looking at it, and I doubt it's going to hold up as well as a lot of the other early Beast Wars figures do. The new box is a little interesting. The bubble has changed, and I think it's gotten a ton uglier. But I'm wondering if they are doing this to correct the mistake they made last time. This new bubble cannot be mistaken for the original packaging or the hyper-rare first-run packaging that they used with the first wave re-releases. Big oops right there, fucking over the original collector market. This is incredibly bland looking, but at least it can't be used to get people looking to get an original to pay way too much for it, since with this you can tell that it's new. The Wolf Fang, on the other hand, I barely remember, even though I'm sure I had it. I do remember the tail gun curving off to the side, pissing me off as a kid. Maybe I hated him for sucking, because man, that's a lot of clear parts forming he's gonna do. And then the box for this one is even uglier with a giant square. Why is there so much dead space in there? It's a figure, 2 missiles, and then like 50% vacant air in the bubble. Why would you do this on a blister card? So these two, I'm pretty sure, are not going to live up to the standards set by the other figures in the reissue line so far, which just begs the question as to why they're doing these next two re-releases first. Seriously, there are so many better remembered, higher quality molds, why pick a few of the worst ones the first year had to offer? Oh, and for those who are wondering why I haven't reviewed reissue Optimus Primal yet, stuff just keeps getting in the way. I really want to talk about that thing, but I only make 3 videos a week, and in practice it's grinding my social life into a fine powder, but it's somehow still not enough to review everything I want in a timely manner. And then you got the Megatron G.I. Joe crossover figure. And how has Hasbro never done this before? How has Hasbro not done this for every G.I. Joe release since they started doing their own Transformers designs? They own both franchises. This is a perfect cross-promotional opportunity, and it has taken them 40 years to bother to do it. I mean, the figure itself looks kind of horrifically crap. Like, not a lot of this Megs is blatantly hollow from the angles we are seeing, but you can sense it. You can just feel how empty the figure is on the inside with your eyes. And just how much of a shell former is this going to be? Also, that's a brutal lack of kibble management on this boy. And I hate how the fusion cannon is a stubby little chode of a thing that mounts to the back of his fist and not on his forearm in any way. The Baroness it comes with looks like a completely unupdated 90s figure, but at least the tank itself seems okay. This feels honestly like it might be more of a retro throwback than it is a Megatron figure, and maybe I shouldn't be judging this so harshly. Oh wait, it's almost $100. Fuck this thing. How is it more than a commander class and it looks 100 times worse? Finally, it's time to give you what you all want. What you all won't stop asking me about. It's time to talk about Legacy Blitzwing. The robot mode looks absolutely fantastic. This is easily one of the most accurate Blitzwing figures of all time. Though from behind that falls apart a little bit with the tiny fake wings. And boy, those stupid giant fists he comes with better not be integral to making the Commander class Menasor. I would not put it past Hasbro crowbarring essential pieces into the boxes of figures not affiliated with the combiner itself just to force a profit on them. But anyways, holy shit, those alt modes suck! Oh my god, those are some of the worst things I've ever seen! How did you fuck this up? The last Blitzwing was glorious! If you got rid of the headmaster gimmick, which would be super easy, the chest already contained a mechanism that didn't have to be there and took the space that the head could go, gave it a waist swivel, wrist swivels, and ankle tilts, and then you just changed the sculpt of the tank to be more accurate to the show, it would have just been a micro masterpiece. It was already so unbelievably close, and then they make this one with the gift of hindsight and a clear willingness to copy the Titans Return figures already, looking at you 86 Blur, and it just botches. It fumbles the easy touchdown. The Titans Return figure was basically a perfect MiG and a perfect Abrams, and all they needed to change is they had to round off the edges of the turret to turn it into a Type 74 tank. It just needed a minor sculpting job. And then this comes as a super jacked up MiG with the wrong nose cone, riding on an entire tank, lacking any form of aerodynamics, when the Titans Return version didn't have that problem. And then they just made up a different tank. You ruined the jet to fix the tank that basically didn't need to be fixed, and then instead of making it the correct one, you just made up a tank. A butt-ugly tank with an entire jet's nose cone sticking out of the front of it. How is the Titans Return figure from 5 years ago literally superior in every way? How did you fuck this up? There's even big ugly hinges in the treads. It's a slightly better robot mode with an infinitely worse jet mode and an infinitely worse tank mode. God, this is disappointing. It could have been perfect, and they just took a dildo to the brain. I don't understand how they fucking cocked it up so bad. The fucking nose cone on the tank might just be the worst, most idiotic, amateurish thing I've ever seen. Oh yeah, it was totally in the show, about 7/8 less pronounced, and it was ugly there too. And it's still the wrong tank. Fuck this thing. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.